Hi everyone, welcome back to part 27 of the Frogger series, and today we're going to be creating some simple chip tunes that we can add to our project for sound effects and background music. Let's not waste any time and just jump right into it. Alright, so I'm going to be working in FamiStudio 4.2.0. I'll do kind of like a brief overview here. You have your keyboard layout on the left, of course. And then you have your samples that you can add different tracks and the actual graph. And then when you actually play the song, it'll go through it there. And then if you hold shift and you click on an item, you can actually remove it and kind of start over. You also notice when I did that, it added a pattern 1. And this brings us to our next topic, which are these little channels here. I'm going to hold shift and get rid of that pattern. You can hear the noise difference in the square channel. If we go to square 2, it's going to sound the same. If we go to triangle, it'll be a much different sound. And then of course you have your noise channel. And then your DPCM is basically kind of 1-bit digital import sounds that you typically will use for your drums and your basses. But we'll kind of go a little bit more in depth in that with the background sound or the song we're gonna use a little bit later though. So I think starting off, we're going to create some basic sound effects. We'll do one for the Frogger death, and then we'll do one for the Frogger hop, and then we'll create one for the car honk as well. And then we'll create a simple background theme music, or I'll show you how we can use one, I should say, to kind of round out this little tutorial series. So first, on the right-hand side, we have the parameters for our basic song setup, as well as the instruments that you can add for it. The instruments has some individual items that you can edit here. This is primarily where we're going to be working through this tutorial. So I think starting off, let's click on the arpeggio envelope, and it'll kind of bring up this little bar here. And you can move these and create different patterns, which will produce different sounds. So for example, I'm going to bump this up 4, and then you can follow along too. We'll bump this up to 8, we'll go to 12, and then we'll go to 16, and we'll let it drop off. So now you have that sort of sound. And it doesn't just stop like there. You can continue making different modifications to the various items here. Like if we go to the sound envelope or the volume envelope, we can drag this out to do 4 patterns, which would be a total of 5. And then maybe I can drop the volume down to 3 and then increase it in increments of 3 until I get to 15. So I have this sort of sound. Which is pretty good. And then we can actually go over here to the pitch envelope, and we can get a little interesting here. Let's maybe start at 4, we'll bump it to 8, increase it to 12, then we'll go to 15, then we'll go back down to 0, and then we'll go in the reverse order, and we'll kind of create this little pattern. So you have that sort of effect there. Now let's actually go back to our main graph. To do that, we could just click on the DPCM sample items here. So we're kind of like back over here. And then I'm going to click into the triangle, and I'll do pattern 1. And then we can sort of pick like a sound we like that matches all the patterns that we set up. So it's basically going to apply all these settings to the keyboard stroke so we can get a kind of like a unique sound. I think this one I'm pretty happy with, so I can add an item here, and I can drop it down, bring it up, and then bring it down, and then I can hit this little loop, so it'll loop this single pattern, and then we can play that effect and kind of see how it goes. I think that's good, it's just a little bit slow. So if we want to increase the speed, there's a few ways you can do it. You can hold the Alt key, and you can drag on any sort of little item to like lower it. But the issue with that is you're gonna have a gap, because you can't add another sound below it, unfortunately. So what we can do is we can edit the song properties. So under the song, we'll click the little gear cog here. I only want a one pattern for this song because it's going to be a sound effect. And then the notes per pattern, I think I'll do 4. And then the notes per beat, we'll do 1. So now we have just this smaller graph here. And I can use my mouse wheel to kind of zoom in. And then I can click the mouse wheel as a button and you can pan around. And now if I click right here and then I go down and then up and then down, and then I don't need a loop because that's the whole song. If I play it, it's going to be a lot quicker. And this is going to be our Frogger death sound. So this will actually work perfect for us. So if we're happy with the song, what you can do, or the effect, is you can come up to the top and you can hit export and choose the format of MP3, and then simply hit the little check mark and it'll bring up like a window to actually give it a name and choose a location. So just kind of call this Frogger Death and then save it. I'm not going to do that because I already have our effects created. So I'll just be doing an import later on. So once you've exported that song though, we can go ahead and click new. And we're going to create our second effect, which is going to be the Frogger's hop sound. And I'm going to use the same key, which you can see it sounds much different, even in the triangle. That's kind of what the sound is. So we're going to modify this sound to kind of be our hop sound. So much like we did before, we'll go to the instrument settings and let's start in, we'll go to the volume. We will increase this to 4 patterns. I'm going to do the same shape that I used before. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. That looks good. And then we're going to come over here to our arpeggio envelope. And then this one we're going to extend out to 10 patterns. And then we'll start at a +4, and then we'll go to a -4. And then we'll go to a +8, and then a -8. And then we'll go to a +12, and then a -12. And then we'll go to a 16, and then a -16. And then we'll start coming in, and we'll bring it just a little bit lower here, like so. So this will be our effect. That's a much different sound than we had before. I think that works pretty good. So we can go back to our original area here. We can go to triangle. We'll add in a pattern. And I just kind of want to use one long note. So if I loop that, that's good. I just had that that long stutter afterwards. So I want to get rid of that. Again, we can lower the effect by just holding the Alt key and bringing it in that way. But it's because we need to export this as just a small sound effect. It makes more sense just to edit the song. And then this is going to be 1 pattern. And it's technically going to be 1 note and then 1 beat. So just this real simple, and then I'll just click in the graph here. And that's going to be our hop song, or our hop sound effect. So then we can just, if we're happy with that, and you can play with other effects and pick one that you actually like. But once you're happy with it, just export it. Make sure to set the format to MP3. Hit the little check mark and just give a name of Frogger Hop. Or something similar. But I already have that done, so I'm not going to follow through there. The next thing we need is some car honks. And just to keep this tutorial short, I'll just make 1 car sound, but you can use the same basically walkthrough to create different car honks. Now, what's nice about FamiStudio is it actually has built-in templates and built-in instruments. So if you click the open button, under FamiStudio, under your program files, There's demo songs, which we'll come to in a second, but there's also demo instruments. So we click this here. It'll load a file that already has a bunch of instruments predefined for you. When you click an instrument, it'll kind of bold, so it's selected. And then you'll want to come into like the FM soundtrack here, so you can actually play notes related to it. That's pretty cool. So you can create a bunch of different effects with these predefined instrument templates, which is great for us. So when doing like a car honk, I think like a trumpet or maybe a harmonica would work well. So we can see if we have either one of those. I do see harmonica here. So if we click this, I think that one's pretty good. So what we can do is we'll kind of do what we did before, and I'll go ahead and just get rid of these using Shift. We'll edit our song. I only want to use one pattern. Notes per pattern, I'll go back to 4, but for the number of beats, I'll do 1. Kind of have like this sort of setup here. Actually, I probably want more. Yeah, so let's go back into here and let's do maybe 16. Yeah, I think that could work. I think that'll be a fun one. So when Frogger gets hit, we'll sort of play that. And if that's not quite low enough, you can also click this button here to get the keyboard in full screen. Maybe try this one. All right, let's see what that sounds like. I think that's pretty good. All right, so I'm happy with that sound for my car honk. So what we can do now is I can just click the little export, make sure to choose MP3, hit the little check mark, give it a name of Frogger car honk or truck honk, something like that, and then we're good to go. And feel free to create a few different variations, like you can use higher pitch, and different patterns, and see kind of how that sounds for different cars. And then just kind of experiment and see kind of what you like. But I think we don't want to keep this too long, so let's kind of move on to our theme song. The theme song, just to make it easy, is we can actually open up those demo songs. So we'll go back to our FamiStudio folder, select demo songs, and they have a number of ones in here. We have the classic Tetris. So we can use something like that. You can also, we got Sonic in here, which is really good. You can see how complicated you can get with this software. One that I like that I think works pretty good. Let's see what Mega Man sounds like. I don't know if that worked well for Frogger, but definitely is a good one though. One that I think works really well is Another Winter. So we can select this one. And I think we'll use this as our background theme song that will start playing at the menu. And it'll just play throughout the duration that the player is trying to make it through our level. So once you find a demo song you like, you can of course just export it. Make sure you select MP3 and then give it a name. And if you want to make your own theme song, feel free, of course. But I think this tutorial series is already getting long as it is, so we'll go ahead and cut it here. And in the next video, we'll import all these songs into Unreal Engine, and then we'll apply the various effects and theme songs to kind of round out our project. But as always, thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.